Hey guys, I'm Dagget. This is Dagget Designs. I'd like to welcome you all back for another drawing and illustration tutorial. I'd like to start off by saying if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you thought of today's video. Now in today's video we are going to be drawing 5 more easy to draw Japanese tattoo flash ideas, so let's get straight into it with the first one. So for our first little design here we're going to be drawing a lotus. Now I'm starting off with a sketching brush here. We are using the iPad Pro with the Procreate app, but you can follow along with just a sheet of paper if you'd like, and a pencil for sketching. So we're starting off with an oval shape, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of smaller ovals in the top of that as well. The sizes don't have to be perfect, they can be sort of all different sizes, but try to keep them all nice and even in shape. Okay, like so. Now from each side I'm just going to bring a line down. Most of this will be obscured, it's just to give us a rough shape to work with, like so. And now to do our petal shapes, I'm going to start with one in the center, and I'm going to start it just above our loop here. And it's going to be sort of this pointy shape like so. Okay. Now I'm going to throw an overlap in the bottom, so I'm just going to come around like so. And then I'm going to start it again on the other side of that. Okay, like this. So that's going to give us our first petal. Now from either side of this, we're going to do very similar petal shapes. We're going to come out like so. And then we can come out again from there and cut back like this. And that's going to give you a side petal. You're going to do the same or a very similar thing on the other side. Like so. You just want to make sure your petals sort of follow around the shape of your lotus there. Now coming around to the back here, the petals on either side of this are going to come forward and out slightly like so. Maybe a little bit more in. And then curve down. And then we can add a fold over to the outside of that. And that's going to be for both of our side petals here. With the fold over, and then this center petal is just going to sort of match up with this center petal but on the other side. So you can make it a little bit wider if you'd like to. Okay, so that's going to give you your basic petals for the center of your lotus. So for the first sort of petal, I'm going to come from the center like here, come out, they can curve back in like so, and then again you're going to add in a fold over. For the next one we're going to come sort of straight down and back up to mirror this one, and then I'm just going to add a fold over to one side like this. And then we can do a very similar petal to what we did on the other side here. Okay, like so, with a fold over coming out the top and back, throwing a fold over. So you can see how easy it is to draw a nice lotus flower by just creating these repetitious fold over areas, and you can generally start to change the shape of your petals as you go if you'd like. Now I'm going to come into the center portion here, and now I'm going to add in the stamens, which are essentially just going to be these little like long noodle shapes or long oval areas towards the end there. You're going to put them all around your bigger oval or your big cone shape in the middle there, like so. Now you can strengthen up the top line and strengthen up your ovals. And of course, you're going to do this when you line it, and the inside of these are going to be shaded anyways, but I'll quickly shade those in just to show you. Okay, so it's going to be like that. Shade them in. Okay, and now this portion that is sitting in here is just going to get erased. Of course you wouldn't see this anyways if you're tracing over your sketch with a lining brush, but that's essentially going to give you a really nice lotus design. If you'd like, you can go ahead and draw in these real thin sort of veins to the inside of your petals. Just make sure they follow the curvature of the petals themselves, like so. And that's going to give you just another little added piece of detail, and this is going to make a really nice flash design, whether it's a standalone tattoo or whether you incorporate it with a larger tattoo as a background piece. Alright, now next up we're going to be drawing a kappa. I'm going to draw it over here and we could just move it after. So we're going to start off with an oval, like so. It's going to give us the basic shape for the head. You can cut across the front of this to give you the eye line or the eyebrow line there. I think I'll use this for center of the eyes in this case. And I'm just going to cut down and forward for the sort of beak shape that our kappa has. Now kappa is, if you don't know, it's a Japanese folklore character. Japanese mythical character. Yeah, they make for nice little tattoos. You can sort of include them in much larger tattoos, or you could even do them as a large piece, but they make for really nice little tattoos, especially if you're just doing a head and a claw or something like that. Now, at the very top of the head, I'm just going to do another oval. The kappa has a little pool of water at the top of its head that keeps it alive. Again, this is sort of a mythological creature. And I've just done some ovals as well for the eyes. Now I'm going to come back from this beak section, come underneath my eye shape, like so, and curve back up. This is going to give us the inside portion of the mouth, and then you can come back under and down, like so. Now we're going to need another line that comes down from the other side like this, back up, and around into the cheek like that. That's going to give us our cheek shape. Now at the back of the cheek shape, I'm just going to add these little spikes. I sort of like the way it looks. They don't always have that, but again, it's a mythical creature. You can sort of mess around with it and make it your own as well. Now just behind the jaw here, I need to pop in the shape for an ear as well. So I'm going to come out, and then I'm going to curve back down and around like so, adding this little bump in the middle. Right, now we can just double up a little line at the top of the ear like so, some little overlapping lines, and then on the inside of the ear I just put these little curved flicky lines that are going to give us that sort of texturing on the inside of the ear. Now from here, for our eyes and our eyebrow ridges, I'm going to come down, cut into my oval and come back up, and then from the other side do the same thing. Now I'm going to come around with my eye, maybe drawing a big dot for the pupil, and a couple of small lines behind it like so. Now you can curve up from the beak section like this, add another little curve in front for the face, and then up for the eyebrow ridge, and then you can pretty much swoop out straight from there and follow your other circle around for the other eye like this. And then you can just drop down a little bit of a cheek on that side as well. So that's going to give you the basic construction of the face. You can add a little nostril or something if you'd like. For the inside portion of the beak, I will add these little teeth, and I like them to be small teeth. I don't like to put these huge teeth on my kappa. For the inside of the mouth, same thing, just little sharp teeth like this. For the one on the way back, we'll just come around like this first, and now on the way back I'm actually going to add the teeth to the outer line like so. That's just going to help if you were shading or coloring this in. You can add those little spikes in the back of the jaw, and that's going to give you pretty much your kappa. To do the top of the head is going to be these little bumpy lines for the front of our little well. This is the little thing he keeps the water in. You can just do a fairly solid line for the back of it. And I like to do this little whirlpool in the middle. This is just shows that it's water, especially if you're doing this in black and grey. Maybe if you're not colouring it, you're just doing an outline. That's just going to show that it's supposed to be water or liquid. And then they've got these little strands of hair, and these just come all the way around the head. And they're just these little lines. Nothing complicated for these. They're just these little lines that come around, and you do them on both directions. And that's going to pretty much give you a kappa. Now if you want to expand on this a little bit, I like to put a little, you can put a little bead necklace on him. But just dropping in some little circles that come around. This will help sort of tie off the neck area a little bit. That way it's not disappearing into nothing, which you can do. I don't like when tattoos or flash just disappears into nothing. I sort of like to have it make a little bit more sense, you know, like the different areas of the design. So if you want to, you can add in that little necklace. And then for a little bonus, I'm going to add a chlorine for this little guy here. So just dropping in a circle, and in this case, you can do your little beads around the back edge of your circle here too. And that will give you a little bead bracelet and sort of help tie the two together. And now you can come forward and down. I'll go forward and up like this, and then forward and down a little bit. And then you can cut the tops off with these curves and into the bottoms like that. So swooping in for the top curve of the line, coming down and then curving forward, and then you can come around like so. Like this. And then if you want to, you can just add in these little webbed things here, because it is an aquatic creature. Okay, and that's going to give you a little claw like that. So that's going to be a really nice way to draw a kappa tattoo flash. Alright, up next we are drawing a little maple leaf. This is similar to the cherry blossom that we did in the last tutorial that I did. So if you haven't seen last week's tutorial, by the way, it was 5 more Japanese, easy to draw Japanese tattoo flash. I'll leave a link in the description to that one in case you want to check it out and you haven't. But we're going to start off with a little circle for this one. Then we're going to split that off into 6 lines. So we're going to go 1, and you can follow that one straight through actually, like so. And I like to just add this little curve to the end of it. And then we're going to go off to either side with 2 slightly shorter lines. And then straight through the center nearly with slightly shorter lines than that. And then down and backwards with 2 really little lines. So that's basically the formation of this little guy, okay? Now from there, we are going to add in the actual parts of our leaf. We're going to use the inside of the circle here as a reference, okay? So we're going to come down from the tip of here and out, and then back in towards the circle, and out and towards the circle, just leaving a little gap like this. And now you can loop around, okay, looping around at the bottom, and then coming back out for the next part of the leaf, and then back in and create another little loop. Loop around, do the next part of the leaf, come out, in, loop around, and then come out for the next part of the leaf, come in and loop around, okay? You're going to do that same little process for the other side. Now it seems like this is really easy to do, and it is quite simple, but it still takes a little bit of practice, and it's an important background element in Japanese tattooing, just like the cherry blossom is, and it can be just as complicated to draw. You want to get it nice and precise, and you don't want it to look too lopsided. You know, you see a lot of maple leaves where one side is bigger than the other by a large proportion, and it just looks disproportionate. It doesn't look tidy. Now in the center of each of these portions, I like to just add in a little curved line, like so. Just following the shape of that part of the leaf. And that's going to give you a really nice little maple leaf. Alright, up next we are drawing a little goldfish. This is a super popular tattoo design, Japanese style tattoo design. I'm going to start off with an oval. A nice big oval like this. And we're going to come straight off the back of it, like this, with a curved line. Cut that curved line now, and then bring it back into our oval. And I might even cut that down a little bit more forward on an angle, like so. And bring that down and forward into our oval. Now at the front of our oval here, I'm going to cut into it by about this much. And then I'm going to come down and forward and back like this. Like I'm going to cut straight back to the circle there, but I might bring that up just a little bit more. Okay. Now from here you can add in a little lip shape like this. I'm going to draw in a circle for the sort of cheek area, and inside that circle at the very top is where the eye is going to sit, like so. And just behind that is going to be the eyebrow, okay, like this. And then you can pretty much cut down and forward, and then cut down and around like this for the bottom portion of the back of the head there, okay, where the gills would sort of sit. Alright, that's going to give you the basic construction for the head. To add in the little whiskers, for goldfish I like to just do these tiny ones. I don't like to do the big koi fish whiskers. So just adding in these two little knobbly bits, like so. Okay, now I'm going to follow that lip around, and then for the underside here, I'm only going to trace this bottom section of the circle to give us our cheek. And then you can pretty much trace your eye, add in a little pupil if you'd like, with a little highlight area, and then trace your little eyebrow portion around like this, and that's going to give you a really nice little goldfish face pretty much. Now you can follow your line straight across the back. Okay, now as for laying in the fins and the tail, I'm going to come just behind the head here and come back, up and forward like so. This is sort of the angle that you want on it. Just behind that, you're going to come back again and then towards the body, so like a triangular shape. For the dorsal fin, I'm going to come back probably 1 centimeter from the head there. Okay, and that's going to be a little bit more bulky actually, a little bit more rounded towards the top. And now I can come back, straight up and back, and then down on an angle like this, and that's going to give you the dorsal fin. And you can play around with that. You can make it, you know, a little bit shorter if you'd like, or a little bit longer. Just depends how you want it to look in this case. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and add a tail. So I actually want his tail to be sort of short and stumpy, because it's going to look nice. You can do big frilly tails. You can do them short like this, or you can just, you know, figure out your own way that you do it. But we're going to do this one a little bit shorter. I'm going to swoop a line up for the back of the tail. And then pretty much just a wavy line that comes back to center. And then same from the bottom here for the tail. And at the back. And then for the fins, you're pretty much using the same method. So coming out with a curved line. And you can just do the similar or the same sort of method to get your wavy lines in there. Just depends, again, how you want it to look. And you're going to do that for all of your fins. Okay. Now, the small lines on the fins are just going to be these little flicking lines that come forward and in, following the shape of your fin. And you're going to do that for all the different sections, including the dorsal fin here. Just these little lines, like that. And of course for your tail as well. Now from here, there's one thing to do, and that's to draw in the scales. Basically, I'm going to start with a line, you know, roughly about here, and come around, and you're actually wrapping the shape of your fish, so it's a curved line. And then I want to keep these lines fairly equally distanced from each other, and pretty much just wrap the body of our fish with a curved line like so. Okay, and now I can turn like this. I'll start on this one and I'll wrap it the opposite way. Okay, coming around like this. So you're pretty much just going 180 degrees across the grain that you just put on there to create a crisscross diamond pattern, like so. Now, you can either leave it like this, and with a lot of smaller Japanese designs, if you were tattooing this at a small size, you could even outline the scales like that, pretty much just a crosshatch pattern. And sometimes that can have a really nice aesthetic, especially when they're shaded individually. Or if you'd like to, you can go ahead and individually now trace in each of your scales, just cutting off the top of your triangle shapes there, or the top of the diamond shapes there. But in this case, I'm going to leave it like so, and that gives us a really nice little fish design. Alright guys, we are nearly there. We've got one more little design to do. Our flash sheet's looking really nice already, and you could definitely go ahead and outline some of these and start playing around with colors and that. But we're going to do one more little design. So we're going to start off with an oval like this, and maybe another little oval sort of coming forward. That way there's this little bit between them. Okay, and I'm going to come down and forward with a line like so. It's going to give us the bottom jaw here. By the way, we're drawing a snake. I should have mentioned that earlier. And we're going to draw in another oval towards the front. This is going to just give us placement for the eye. Now we're going to start detailing this out before I do the body. So I'm going to start by coming back towards the eye, with these little teardrop sort of shapes, or these little oval shapes, okay? Underneath the eye, and then coming back towards the back of the mouth. You want them to get larger and slightly longer, like this. And then from the bottom part of the jaw here, I'm going to come back, or maybe I'll come in this direction actually. Yep. Like so, just following that line forward. Okay. Now at the back of the mouth here, I'll add in this webbed bit of flesh where the mouth sort of opens. And then I'm going to add in a bunch of small teeth. And I know generally snakes have big fangs, but sometimes these Japanese style snakes will have a lot of small teeth, and I really like the way that that looks. Now from the inside of the mouth there, I'm going to drop in a couple of curves, and then a much bigger curve coming down, and I'll bring that up and out like so. We probably need a bit more space there. So up and out like so. Then I can split that off like this into one part of the tongue, and then split that off into another little section like so. And from here, of course, you can draw in that little webbed portion on the other side of the mouth and some teeth if you'd like, just to sort of make up the other side of the mouth there. For the front of the nose area here, I'm going to bring in a little curve with a little nostril, come down from the other side, and then come out, follow the shape of the head around, like so. Okay, that's going to give you the right shape. And now you can just come around to the eye here, making a little eyebrow. In this case, maybe I'll do this jelly bean shaped eyebrow like that. Just depends, I don't know. There's lots of different styles of them. Just play around, see what you like. Drop in the actual eye with a pupil and an iris. You can do a couple of those small whipping lines at the back of that just to sort of add a bit of depth to the eye there. But that's basically the head for our snake, okay? And I'm going to add in a little section of body. There's not going to be much, but you're going to come back from the bottom of the mouth, come this way towards our kappa, go the other way, and then back up like so. And you can do the same for the top half of the body, coming from the top of the head. Alrighty. Now you're going to see a little bit of the belly coming from this side of the mouth, so just coming up and following the shape of the body around for that little bit of belly that you'll see. And then if you want to draw that in now, it's just going to be these little loops, these little curved lines that come around and sort of overlap each other. And they're going to get smaller as they're going to disappear around the underside of the body, okay? Like so. That's going to give you the belly section. And then if we're going to do like sort of a pattern on the body, which generally I like to do, we can follow, this is going to be like our center line, I guess, for the body. And for the pattern, I just want to do like this splotchy pattern that comes from the center and right down onto the head. Okay, you can add in these little bits, and this is just a nice easy texture to do. It's an alternative to doing scales. I know some of you maybe, you know, struggle with scales. I've had people message me and say, oh, scales, you know, really hard to do. So this is a nice little alternative. If you're still practicing your scales, but you want to draw nice looking snakes, you can go ahead and put like a patchy pattern on their back, which looks really nice as well. Now, one last thing we're going to do with our snake, and I'm going to open up a new layer for this. I'm just going to add in some flames to sort of tie the end off, and you can do this in any way that you'd like. Whether you want to tie the end off with flames, or whether you want to tie the end off with some smoke or something. Completely up to you. I like to use flames for this sort of thing. Just going to help sort of tie the design off, give it a little bit neater of a look. And if you were tattooing this, again, it's going to leave you without that sort of disappearing body at the end of the design, which I just don't like to do. I sort of like to have something connecting it so that it makes sense. Okay, so I'm just adding in these little flame sections behind there. Maybe we can have some of the flame reaching forward through here, like so. And these are just Japanese style flames. They're like these long S curves that just flow between each other and create these sort of long curves or licks of fire. Okay, like so. And maybe I'll bring a little bit more off in this direction before I come around the back like this. Anyways, that's going to give you a really rough idea of how to do it. And then I'll just come in here and erase the part that overlaps our snake. Right, so it makes more sense. And fix up that line there. That's going to give you a snake sort of coming out of some flames. And that's going to look really nice as, again, like a small tattoo, maybe on a forearm or something. But a lot of these are going to be gap fillers. You know, you're going to fill up your small gaps with these. Maybe use them in the background of larger tattoos. Or what you could do with a snake is have flames with the snake coming out. And then that fills up one gap. And then you could have flames with the tail end of the snake coming out. So it just depends what you want to do with it. There's lots of cool things that you can do with these little designs. And they're a really great way to practice your fundamentals like scales, background elements like the flowers, you know, like little things like that. And then you got little folklore characters and stakes and things. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you give these a try. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you thought. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye-bye. If you like the content that I make and you'd like to support the channel, make sure you smash that like button. And hey, while you're at it, check out one of these other great videos.